Okay guys, hi and welcome back for another quick review. Today we're looking at the Hidizs MS2. Hidizs are a company that's been around for a fairly long time. They've had a lot of success with their DAP units, which have been very high quality, and now this is the latest budget earphone. Budget being under $100. I believe these sell for about $89. Give you a close-up. Driver configuration is one balanced armature and one dynamic driver in hybrid configuration. They are a decent little earphone. There's some similarities between something that they're going to be going up against, and I'm not choosing this one in particular, but just CCA and KZ in general. Make earphones for this sort of price point, and as a total package I think these are much better than something like the CCA CKX and some of the, I can't even remember the names, like the 16s or something, when KZ and CCA went all balanced armature with crazy amounts of drivers and produced some really trashy earphones. These are sort of a step up above all of those, and as a total package with this cable included and the accessories and the box, I think it becomes pretty good value. There's a magnet on the box that obviously just connected itself to the driver. So this is the carry case that they include with it. It's a hard Hidizs branded case, and it's very nice. If we open it up, it's got this rubberish lining on the inside that's going to keep it sort of semi-water resistant and keep your earphones from getting banged about too badly. But it's a very nice case, nice little touch that they've added in. The ear tips that they have, they give you two sets in three different sizes. So you get a sort of thicker with a thinner gauge, and you can see when I touch this, it's a softer silicone but with a wider gauge. Alters the sound slightly in terms of bass performance. You have to forgive me, my hands are terrible. I've been scrubbing. I was working on the motorbikes this morning. I've been scrubbing, but I can't get the chain oil off. This is the earphones. So you can see they've got a beautiful little faceplate design. Resin material, and they have the metal nozzles on them, which I prefer because I find that acrylics, if you drop them and hit on the nozzle, they can chip and fracture. This is just a little bit more sturdy, but this is very similar to the KZ design, and sort of this protrusion here, very similar to KZ, so I don't know if KZ are manufacturing these for Hidizs. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But in terms of build quality, so I'll bring the latest CCA out again. If you just bear with me. CCA have been refining their design, and hopefully they are moving away from the plastic resin that CCA and KZ have been using for the past few years. And this is the latest earphone, which I found very interesting because it's an all metal body, it's nice and petite. This is a 6 balanced armature and one dynamic driver stuffed into this tiny little body. You can see it's far smaller. This is way better build quality than this. This build quality is fine, although it feels very sort of light and plasticky. So it's just something to consider in terms of long-term durability. The faceplate does look really nice, and it's going to be eye-catching, and I believe they offer them in a few different colours. A real plus point of this earphone is the cable. As I say, this earphone is about $89 right now, and this is the cable that is included with it. And you can see here it is braided with a sheath over the top of it, and then it's twisted before the splitter, and then after the splitter it's just two single strands, but the twist below the sheaths. The hardware on it's excellent. You have this metal jack point terminated in a 3.5mm standard headphone jack, and a little bit of strain relief on the end there. You have the usual cable tie, and then you have a nice metal splitter into a metal cable cinch, up to strain relief, and then this sort of what looks like a KZ hooded connector, but it actually isn't a hooded connector. It sits flush. You can see that there's no recession there. So this actually just plugs in, and you can see it just lands flush. So it's away from the actual headphone body, and I think that'll add some rigidity in the long term. In terms of comfort, very comfortable earphones, ergonomically designed very nicely. They sort of fit nicely in my medium-sized ears. I would say that they're too big for small ears, but medium-large ears are going to get on just fine with this. And yeah, super lightweight, so you don't even really notice that they're in after a while. The only different thing that I did while I was testing these and reviewing them was to change over to a pair of spin fit tips. That's just personal preference for me. In terms of driving them, I put them through everything, the Deathon Ray, the topping, and you know, a few of my daps will get this one, and the Shanling M6 Pro. Put it through all that, and to be honest, didn't hear a damn bit of difference whether I drove them through one of these versus the straight out the iPhone with the little jack adapter I've got from DD Hi-Fi. In terms of different presentation of the amps and DACs, yes, of course, but in terms of power, you don't feel like you're losing anything. So they don't really need any sort of specialist amplification. The sound it's kind of fun, energetic, slightly warm. It's a very capable, competent earphone. It's not as refined as something like the Tin Hi-Fi T3 or T4 in this price range. I think they're still setting the standard bearers, and it's definitely not as musical as something like the Final Audio E3000, which I think is one of the most musical earphones under $100 tuning wise. But the E3000 is a trash build construction, like, you know, non-detachable cables and a very poor cable at that. The low end, the bass has good presence, decent impact, not overbearing sub bass. It's very controlled, but there is a sub bass quantity there that's quite nice. The mid range, the mid bass is tight and punchy and bleeds ever so slightly into the lower mid range. The mid range is buttery smooth. It holds quite a lot of weight in lower frequency stringed instruments and male vocals. There's a lot of sort of thick lushness there. I really liked that, and I kind of liked what it did to female vocals as well. It took that edge off of some of the female vocals that I listen to, especially the jazz performers, like or traditional performers like Rihanna Giddens from Carolina Chocolate Drops. The highs are pretty inoffensive. They just sort of roll off smoothly, and they don't get too hot. Treble sensitive people are going to be just fine with these earphones. I would like to have seen a little bit more overall energy, a little bit more extra oomph, and maybe if there was a few extra balanced armatures in here, they would have been able to do that. But in terms of overall cohesiveness, it's quite a balanced, warmish, not too much like bass overbearing into the mids or the mids overbearing into the highs. Its detail retrieval was quite good. It was quite impressive with especially the upper mid range and stuff like that. I think it's just an overall cohesiveness thing. It's a very solid earphone. Is it one of these earphones where I'm going to say it's worth more money than it is? No, I don't think so. I think that there's some earphones in this category, as I said, some of the CCAs and stuff are going to give it a run for its money, although you're going to have to buy an aftermarket cable to get the most out of your CCA or KZ earphones. The Tin Hi-Fi T3 and T2 are overall just better build quality and better sound quality. Although I know people prefer this, a lot of people prefer this monitor styling as opposed to the barrel design of the T2s. The other one, what am I thinking? Final Audio E3000. I love that earphone, but I think they need to update it with a detachable cable, a detachable decent quality cable. I want them to keep the same size and stuff. Tuning wise though, I think that's still one of the gold standards under $100. And not to mention that you can now get the Yamaha EPH 100, which I think I first reviewed that in 2013, and that is still a very special sounding earphone, which I would actually personally take over this. So it's a nice effort, it's a perfectly good earphone. It comes with very good accessories, nice box, nice cable. It's worth about the money, it's good looking, it's well made, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it, but there's plenty of other options out there at the same price. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tons of reviews coming. We have toppings, Dayton Rays, Shanlings. We have every type of KZ you can imagine. We have budget stuff, we have super high-end stuff, Duno Zen, Duno DK4001. We have these little thingamabikes from E1DA, and a lot more to come. So yeah, I'm trying to grow the channel. Support's been great so far, so if you're liking it, if you want any recommendations, or if you're thinking of buying something, just send me your budget, send me your preference, your listening preferences, and I'll give you a few different options. And also I'm going to start doing comparative videos, so if you want this to be compared to anything else you've seen on the channel, or any of these other ones, you want to know how this stacks up against this, or this stacks up against this, or how these stack up directly against the KZ, just shoot a message and I can put these videos out for you, and yeah, hopefully we'll grow the channel and see what comes next. Thanks for watching.